This is a code walkthrough for the example file SelectionSequential.java. This is a nice compact example which demonstrates the idea of sequential selection. So for example here we have one selection structure whose outcome is required before we can execute a following selection structure. So what we're trying to do in this file is we've declared three integer numbers. We're prompting for those three numbers using our utilities class. And then we want to find the largest of those three numbers in stages. So what we're doing first is we're finding the larger of the first two numbers in this if-else structure, and then we need that outcome before we can compare that intermediate result to the third number to get what is ultimately the largest of the three numbers. And then we're printing it out. Pretty simple and straightforward. So let's go ahead and compile this so we can run it through with the values used in the lecture slide. So the first number will be 100, the second number will be 23, and the last number will be 92. So obviously the answer is going to be 100, as it is. So let's now set a breakpoint on main and go through the same set of data and look in detail under the hood how this works. So we'll prompt for that first number again. It's going to be 100. And we will prompt for that second number, which again is 23. And we'll prompt for the third number, which is 92. And now we've read all three numbers. We've got them here. And so we enter the first selection structure. And we're looking for the largest of the first two numbers. Obviously, the larger of 123 is going to be 100. So if num1 is bigger, we're setting it equal to the intermediate value largest, and we're done with this one. And now we have this intermediate result, the larger of the first two numbers, but we need that to perform the comparison with that third number. So here we're comparing the value 92 against that intermediate result. If it's bigger, we'll reset the intermediate value to the third number, but in this case it's not, so largest remains 100. And we print that out. Just for grins, before we leave this example, let's run this again for another set of data, and maybe we'll pick a set of data which will have the numbers in strictly increasing fashion so that all of these branches of code are exercised. So let's run this one more time, and let's pick values. Let's say 20 and 40 and 60. Notice that whenever we prompt for data, by the way, we're leaping to our code in the other file. So that's what's going on here. But once we step past that, actually we have to terminate that with an enter, we're back to our original reference point in the flow of execution. So this time we can see that this first check is going to be false. 20 is not greater than 40. So we're going to have to go to the else branch, and we're going to set this intermediate result largest to the second number of 40. And there we have that. And then we go to the if branch, whose execution depends on the outcome of this prior if-else branch. So now we're comparing num3, which is 60, to our intermediate result of 40. That's true. So we're going to reset largest to 60. And that's a nice feature of the debugger. Whenever a value changes, its value in the list of variables is reddened. So then we'll print that out, and we are done. Okay, so that's it for this example. This shows sequential execution. We've got an if-else structure followed by an if structure, but in this case the outcome of the first selection block, this intermediate result largest, is needed before we can execute this following if block. Okay, that's it for this example.